Our low budget Warlock Aggro deck costs around 1560 Arcane Dust to make, not counting the common cards, but it will help you start climbing the rankings, particularly between rankings 20 and 15. Look, with a good draw, this can present such pressure to your opponent in the early game that they will not be able to establish control. But should you have a bad draw, you can always gain some of the advantage back by sacrificing your health for card advantage with your hero power. However, keep in mind that using your hero power may give your opponent that slight edge needed to beat you, so be cautious if you are behind. If your opponent starts to control the board, you can reset with Power Overwhelming and Shadowflame. Try to avoid going to the late game, as this will give a significant advantage to your opponent, and most of your play is in the early game. Alright, that's a pretty good starting hand. Being ranked 19, I think I'll hang on to the Harvest Golem. I would normally throw it back. I'm going to see how hard I can make that Leper Gnome work. Every point of damage I can do with him is just a bonus. That Leper Gnome will probably also draw like a shadow word out of my opponent's hand, which is fine, I still get the 2 damage in. Removal when I needed it. Excellent. As with most Warlock matches, no mercy, doing as much damage to the face as possible, and only removing creatures when absolutely necessary. There's the Shadow Word Pain, like I thought he'd do. May as well go with the Flame Imp. And draw some more resources. Always try to put as much pressure on my opponent as soon as possible, and this Warlock deck just lets you do that. There we go, there's the second Shadow Word Pain out of his hand. A little bit sad to see the demon go, but that's okay. I'm always a sucker for a knife juggler.
Why do you call?
So generally I'm forcing my opponent to play the way I want them to play, that is, force them to deal with everything on the board. And while my opponent has to deal with everything that's on my side of the board, he's doing exactly what I want. He's running out of resources and he's not throwing them at my head. Let's have some life back.
Eyes are open.
Always a bit wary of the Arcane Golems at this stage of the game, because if I were to play both of them next turn, it puts my opponent just way too far ahead. Okay, so Shadowflame may be useful. Let's consider the options here. Probably the best thing to do is run that Farseer into the taunt creature. And then follow up with something else. So I might just draw a card and see what other resource I get. Oh, that's acceptable.
Of course. you call?
The reason I did that is because he has to get rid of that taunt creature if he wants to get rid of my Arcane Golem, which I'm pretty sure he can do. But at least I'm forcing the play, and I've got the follow-up Arcane Golem if and when I need it.
I must consider. Your magic shall not save.
That's a really good answer. Oh, okay, that's too easy. So we can go 5/7 on the Voidwalker and just destroy it and kill all these creatures. We've got enough in our hand to come back. He's only got one card in hand, and that's even better. So Shadowflame seems like the right idea. Now keep in mind too, we're only ranked 19, so we can play a little bit loose. I think I'll come down with the Leper Gnome and the Harvest Golem and drop the Defender in the middle.
My shield for Argon. Job done.
Just wanted to hold off on the Arcane Golem for a turn. I can come down with that next turn and swing for even more damage. Okay, I don't really care about that. He can make it as big as he likes. Unless he puts Taunt on it, I'm just not worried about it. More life is always good.
Eyes are open. Into the breach. Job's done.
And you can see the 2/14 creature there. What can he take out? My Leper Gnome? That's his best option. And I really don't care about that because he's only on 12 life. So really the key here for him to even get the upper hand again is to place a taunt creature out there or to put taunt on that 2/14. I don't see that happening. So I'm happy to stick my neck out here and say I've pretty much got this in the bag. Yep, absolutely.
Of course.
I really wish Demon Fire would do damage to my opponent, not just creatures. Can probably pass turn there. Yep. Not worried at all. I've got 4 damage in hand, 10 on the board, and he's desperate.
You have been.
And we'll see you again in rank 18.